Hi everyone. I've been pretty active in conservation and environmental campaigns online. I don't know how long now, a couple of years, I guess, and also with the running for the council in our local government elections last year. And so, like anyone who sticks their head up above the parapet and speaks out, you cop a bit of flack online. And I just realised the other day, it's probably about 3 or 4 years I've been doing this now that I think about it. But anyway, I just realised the other day that they have a pretty similar kind of playbook or methodology, the people who troll you. And I call it the three eyes of trolling. So I just thought I'd run through them because if you're experiencing something like this, it might give you a way to kind of understand it or deal with it. Hopefully you're not having to, but anyway, this is just my kind of what I've noticed about the way they go about this. Um, so the three I's are isolate you, insult you, and intimidate you. I mean, there may be others, but these are just ones that I've kind of noticed that I get a bit. So the isolating one is where people they just try and belittle you, and they say, and this is almost exact quotes that I've had. So you're just a voice crying in the wilderness, and no one's listening to you. No one cares, and stuff like that. And by the time I was getting stuff like that, I guess I was a bit hardened, and it didn't really faze me. But you just have to think, well, am I a voice in the wilderness? No, lots of people actually believe in what I believe in. Do I have supporters? Yes, of course I do. And even if you don't have any of that, it's all about what you're doing and why you're doing it and your belief in that substance or the ideas or the reasoning. And you don't need the support from people. Obviously, we're all human. It's nice to have it, but if you truly believe something, you're going to do it anyway. And so so the isolating thing is the first one. It's kind of laughable now when people say that to me. so, then the insult, and I got to admit, the first time this ever happened, it did actually get under my skin a little bit. Might have been 4 years ago or something now, where we're fighting to keep the mountain bike paths out of this high value biodiversity area on the range here called Redwood Park. And someone told me, "You're what's wrong with the country," and yeah, I mean, that kind of hurt because I hadn't really experienced too much trolling at that stage and hadn't thought about too much about how to deal with it. And, I was hoping I was doing good things for the country. So, anyway, all you got to do is just kind of rationalize it. And I went and had a look at that person's page, and it was clear that he had no respect for the environment. And I thought, I'm doing far more for the country than you are. I mean, obviously, you might be doing good things in other ways, but, it doesn't mean that I wasn't doing good stuff as well. So, so there have been other insults. What are some of them? I keep a web, some of them are so humorous. I keep a folder called Best Worst Trolling, where I just take screenshots just to laugh at them. Where people insult my accent or the way I talk. It's just petty. As soon as someone starts playing the man and not the ball, like they just having an argument. And then intimidating. And I've only really had one of these, and it's someone made a very veiled threat towards physical violence to me. And that's nothing compared to what I received. There was nothing compared to the threats that some people have received, but still, it was a bit much, and I just blocked that person. I think at that stage that was in the council election, the campaign. So, yeah, and obviously, if it's really serious, you'd go to the police about it. But it's just all these things to try and throw you off your game, basically. So that's what I call the three eyes. And I did just realise the other day that I think they pull these things out because these are the things that these people fear the most. So they fear that they are just a voice in the wilderness, that no one's listening to them. They fear that, they're not of value or adding something to the country, or, that they're not acceptable in some way, if they start criticising your looks or your voice or your appearance or whatever. So, they're reaching into the bag and they're pulling out the thing that they think is going to hurt the most because they've been hurt the most by it. And yeah, the physical violence thing. The funny thing is, I found out a little while later the person that made that threat against me was disabled, and wouldn't have been able to carry through with it, from what I can tell. But they feel physically incapacitated, so the whole thing about being online is you can target someone directly. This person gave me a message over Facebook. You can zero in and target someone directly. And I had to learn in that election campaign that I was naive, and I thought I'd open up and listen to everyone, and be open and interested and constructive. But that works with some people, but with other people, you're just opening the doors to all the unbalanced people, and they're not going to listen. They don't want help or support. They just want someone to target their angst at. And I get that a fair bit. Someone would have some gripe with the government, and so then they think that somehow I'm part of it because we're trying to change the laws about land clearing and things like that. So people will bring in their anger from other issues and see you as an outlet for it, rather than just debate the actual topic you're trying to debate. So anyway, you got to kind of shut the door a fair bit too. But yeah, so anyway, look, I've written or done other videos in this playlist, on the Serious Side playlist, about how to deal with some of these kinds of things, but I haven't talked about these 3 issues. And as I said in one of those other videos, still listen for feedback. As soon as I get any comment, I scan it. I try and see if there's anything constructive or positive, something I can learn from it, something of value. Do they have a point? And if they don't, if it's personal, then just eject it out of your brain and your system and off your messenger or your Facebook comments, whatever. Just get rid of it, because it's not helpful. So you still want to, I think there's a siren, you still want to be open to getting challenging feedback, but you've got to be able to discern pretty quickly between when it is something constructive and when it's not, when it's just personal. And I feel sorry for people like that. And honestly, look, if you're a troll who does this kind of thing to people, first of all, get a life. Second of all, realise you have got something positive to offer the world, and this is by no means it. But just get out there and do it. Back yourself. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to be rejected. Feel all of that stuff and do it anyway. It's only by doing it that you end up gaining the confidence, and you don't see people as threats. See them as someone you can learn from, or see how they're adding to the world, and then realise that you can add to the world as well. Something that someone else does that's positive won't take away from you, so you still have a lot that you can add yourself as well, regardless. So anyway, guys, that's it. Hope that is of use somehow. The 3 eyes of trolling. There you go. Okay, see you then. Bye.